Many people throughout history have been labeled as bloodthirsty tyrants and conquerors. But there's a moral dilemma that has always existed and always will exist. How do we decide if somebody is simply a bad person? So we have many questions and problems building up. Is somebody automatically bad if they kill or harm others, regardless of the reason? Is somebody still bad if they kill or harm others just to defend themselves or another group of people? Where do we draw the line in the sand to distinguish the killers from the valors? Let's take Genghis Khan for an example. Many, if not most people today consider him a brutal and cruel barbarian. But was he really? Born an orphan with nothing to work with, he rose to the top, always dedicated, and created the Mongolian Empire. At the time, expectations, principles, and rules were much different. So can we really judge Genghis Khan from our own present-day principles and expectations? Or should we instead judge him according to the principles of his time? Shouldn't we fairly evaluate historical figures only by what was considered proper in their times within the context of their societies? This becomes problematic, however, because we should still judge with our senses. For example, we should not consider a murderer to be a good person just because murder was not met with outrage in the person's time. Cultures have contained completely immoral and cruel things that simply can never be justified with, "It's just how their culture is." Mongolian Prime Minister Albek Dorj Tashakia's historical advisor Babar Batbar, referring to Mongolia's citizens, said that Genghis Khan is like a god to us and the founder of our state, the root of our history. Genghis Khan believed in diplomatic law and order and loyalty, and rather than blindly murdering, asked cities to surrender and pay to expand his empire, which seems fair to expand an empire's reign. Although most cities agreed, many of them would betray Khan and rebel against him later, leading to their own deaths. Others would agree, then kill Mongolian ambassadors that would come into their city to seal the deal. This shows that he had basic compassion for humans and still gave people a chance and simply took revenge after they went against his principles and were dishonest or disloyal to him. Many say Genghis Khan's exploits were not exploits at all, and the expansion of his empire was completely diplomatic and fair when compared to, say, how the Europeans expanded into North America. But Europe expanding into North America was on a smaller scale, and so it is often disregarded when talking about issues like this, even though it could have been just as unfair and horrific. This begs the question, was Genghis Khan's method of expansion bad just because it was carried out on a larger scale? On the negative side, Genghis Khan abolished and destroyed many cultures and cities and killed millions upon millions of people, with the approximate number usually estimated as 40 million, almost 10% of the world population at that time. Genghis Khan's army spread disease, corruption, and distrust through the Eurasian continent. On the positive side, however, Genghis Khan united and brought together many nomadic and wandering traditional tribes of the Mongolian plateau, forming them into a single stronger empire. He also abolished the tradition of kidnapping women in Mongolia and gave women more rights and roles in society. The survivors of the attacks benefited from being added to the Mongolian Empire, as there was tolerance for different religions, beginning concepts of equality, and better positions for many workers. New cultural and justice systems were also introduced into the empire. According to the Telegraph, Mike Yates, founder of a leadership resource company, says that Genghis Khan simply worked for success and demonstrated the 4 E's of leadership: energize, empower, envision, and enablement. And it's not only him that's thinking in this new and open way. Ed Bazalgette, who worked with BBC to make a documentary on Genghis Khan, said that the conqueror had suffered centuries of vilification, but was seen in a different light in Mongolia. It is not only people from Mongolia that are adapting their mindsets today. Many today believe that Genghis Khan was a generous, triumphant hero and role model, while many others are still convinced that he was a brutal, merciless madman and genocidal murderer. How can we tell which side is right? Will we ever be able to? We probably never will. The important thing is that we compile and consider all the facts before we choose a side, and that we always keep in our hearts that even after considering all the evidence and facts, our side might still be wrong. The conclusion to this dilemma is not a conclusion, but rather a pool of questions. As with all essential questions, while looking for answers, we often find more burning unknowns. And although it may seem cruel and unproductive, it is how humanity's curiosity is fueled, and without it, we would never experience the magic of exploring and finding out new and amazing things. Thank you for watching.